Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Donovan. We're going to take a look at the last page of the Unit 5 Day 12 homework, just to kind of give you a little preview of what we're going to do tomorrow with double triangle congruence proofs. So the first thing that we want to do, as always, is read our given and mark our model. So I know that CB is parallel to OH. I know that CB is perpendicular to MB, so there's a 90-degree angle where CB and MB meet. And also OH is perpendicular to AH, so there's a 90-degree angle where they meet. I also know that triangle ABC, which I'm going to highlight in yellow. Okay, this whole triangle is said to be congruent to triangle MHO. And it's kind of cool that they tell us that, because if they tell us we have congruent triangles, then we know all of the angles and all of the sides contained in that triangle that are corresponding are also congruent. So that might be helpful to lead to our proof statement. So we're trying to prove then that triangle CBM, so this triangle here, this blue triangle, is congruent to triangle HOA. Alright, so what do we know right now? Well, it looks like we have those right angles that are congruent. We do have these parallel lines. Here at CB and HO, and we can use AM as a transversal. So what type of angles would those be that are congruent? So remember, we're trying to prove the blue and the pink triangles are congruent. So the angles that would be helpful in this situation are these alternate interior angles. So we need 3 pieces of information to prove the 2 triangles, the blue and the pink, are congruent. We've used up almost all of our givens except for the fact that the green and the yellow triangles are congruent. If the green and yellow triangles are congruent, then there's 3 sets of congruent angles and 3 sets of congruent sides within these triangles. So what I want to look at is I want to see if one of these sets of angles or sides is also a set of sides or angles that's shared by the blue and the pink triangle. And it just so happens that that is the case with segment CB and segment OH. So if I have 2 triangles that I know are congruent, then I can say their parts are congruent. Now, we've been talking a lot about this in class and on our homework. If 2 triangles are congruent, what is the reason that I can say their parts are congruent? That's right, CP-CTC. So we can then say that the blue and the pink triangles are congruent. It looks like I've got 2 angles and a side that is nestled between, so that we'll use the method angle, side, angle. So now that we have our game plan, let's formally write this up. So we have our given information, and from those given parallel lines, we could say that angle BCM is congruent to angle HOA. Angle HOA. I'm going to put an A there because that gives me a set of angles to prove my blue and pink triangles are congruent. Now, I knew that I had those perpendicular lines given, and perpendicular lines form congruent right angles. Congruent right angles. We must have both of those pieces. So I can now say that angle CBM is congruent to angle OHA. angle CBM is congruent to angle OHA. I'm going to put an A there because that's another set of angles that are congruent. Remember, I need 3 congruent statements. Right now I have 2 angles, so I'm going to have to show that a set of sides are congruent as well. I had one last given. Remember that the green and the blue triangles were congruent, and if they are congruent, all their parts are congruent. So I can say BC is congruent to HO. I'm going to put an S here, so I now know that those are congruent sides. And the reason I knew that was CPTC. CPCTC. And finally, I can say that the blue and the pink triangles are congruent, and we decided that was going to be the angle, side, angle method because the side is nestled between. So that's angle, side, angle, congruent.